Hey everyone, welcome to yet another episode of
Middle-Aged Barbarians.
He's Eddie.
And that's Eugene.
Yes, that's who I am. And today, Eddie, I'd like to do a couple things.
Sure.
The
I
first
have no
one,
idea what you're talking about, but sure.
don't worry, it's okay. You'll be safe. The first is just kind of like get your general feedback vibe on what we've seen so far on the 2024
Okay.
update. And the second one is share some juicy gossip
Gossip.
that's
okay.
happening
Okay.
in the D&D verse, but not on the wizard side, on the old wizard side. It'll be fun. But, I mean, so far they've revealed like some general rules, lineages, backstories, backgrounds, whatever you want to call them. And they've gone through, classes: fighter, paladin, see how my memory
Barbarian.
works, barbarian, rogue, warlock, druid, wizard.
Correct.
I mean, so we have still quite a few classes to go. Is there any one class that you are more looking forward to seeing?
Well, no, we already seen Wizard, and that's my thing, and yeah, that's why the episode's so long about wizards.
That's okay. I want to see. I'm very interested in seeing what they do with the cleric.
Clerics are always interesting as well because they establish how part of the whole world building is the way the gods are related, and what clerics are that.
Yeah.
Which-
Bards. They haven't mentioned bards yet, which I'm sure if they're focusing so much on role playing aspects, I'm sure bards are going to take up even more center stage.
Yes.
And
There are mosquitoes running around, and
yeah, remember when we said it was raining a lot? We weren't kidding.
we were not kidding. Yeah, you could actually see cars like boats around here. Crazy. My car actually got drowned in the flood.
God damn, I'm sorry to hear that. But it's
Thankfully,
okay.
it dried up and it still works. But
Okay. I'm sorry. Clerics, bards. We have rangers left, or they haven't talked about rangers yet, have they?
no,
Sorcerers.
sorcerers have not also been discussed.
Producer, what am I missing? I'm putting the producer on the spot. He's clerics, bards, sorcerers, rangers, monks.
Paladins.
No, paladins. We already did paladins. Remember
Yes.
the whole smite issue. Monks, if they bring monks back, which I'm sure they might.
I'm not sure if it will bring back the artificer.
Artificer, which I've always said wrong. I've always said artificer, because that's the uncultured couth that I am, or uncouth, uncultured person.
Couth. That's a great word.
I don't know. Okay. Anyway, Edgar, take care of us with this. And so, I mean, we've got that coming up. I don't know. From what you've seen so far, I mean, I know you've liked the wizard, you like the warlock, and all these
The spellcasting classes
hocusy-pocusies.
seem very, very well made in the sense that they are not. I mean, they were already pretty streamlined compared to second edition and first edition. Oh my god! Compared to old school style classes, they're very, very streamlined. But they're not in. They did not fall into the trap of making all the classes the same. Like kind of what happened in fourth, that you kind of had your abilities that.
How dare you?
Which is a good philosophy of design, but I don't know. It's kind of the controversy we can get
You
here.
know, I think if this would have come out when 4th edition came out and 4th edition came out when this is coming out, 4th would have been a lot more popular, especially with, I mean, just the other day we were talking on Discord. You can come join us on Discord and have beautiful conversations with us over at ND Hobbies Discord. Precisely about 4th edition and how they had already had like this skeleton work of a VTT set up and like people sharing stories about all these cool things, but I guess it was just before their time. The tech wasn't ready. The necessity wasn't there. Because, I mean, back then we didn't have like all these tech options like Zoom and working from home and roll die 20. Pre-pandemic world, and not only pre-pandemic world, 10 years before the pandemic was totally different than it is now. So if 4th would come out now instead of what's coming out now, I think it would be more popular.
I think that fourth would work more as a different system, a different brand, because the design philosophy is very good. I mean, I played a couple of games on fourth, and it didn't really feel like Dungeons and Dragons to me, but I still like the system. So I understand why you're so keen on it, because it is well made.
Like,
Well, speaking of the vibe of this one, I mean, it's more of the same. It's similar, just very similar to fifth. It's just more streamlined. It kind of reminds me. It gives me similar feel to 3.5 from 3. It's the same, but
there are some. At least there are some big differences, and a lot of there are little changes that I think are going to make big repercussions.
Of course, yes.
Personally, if I can share with you guys, I do not like the fact that everything seems so. Maybe the word I'm looking for is superfluous.
Yes, that you can change everything.
Nothing. You don't have to make any decisions that are going to be long-lasting with your character. I mean, sure, from, I guess, like somebody who wants to experiment around with the class, it sounds fun to be a protective fighter or a great weapon fighter the next level, and then switch over to a different fighting style, and then, but I don't, is every character going to be that wishy-washy that they need to be switching around? And, oh, you don't like this pact? Well, don't worry. Next level, you can grab a different pact or a different boon, or you can, because I think even with the warlocks, nothing is set in stone, or you can do different choices.
I mean, you can, not as openly as the wizard can, for example, but yeah, it's a little bit more fluid.
Yeah, so it seems like none of your decisions have to be impactful with your character.
Yeah, to get stuck with a bad decision was a really good role-playing opportunity. Or not even a bad decision, a subpar decision, because they're not really bad decisions in role-playing.
The other day they sent us a game system. I'm trying to remember the name of it right now. It's like an old school. It's a little bit of third edition, but it has a lot of old school vibes. It's based on the author that you like. What was it?
Dying Earth. Yeah, the Dying Earth system.
But it has a different name.
Yeah,
Open
but the setting was the Dying Earth. Yeah.
Dungeon Crawler Classic. Or what's the name of that? Do you remember? Here, let me. I want to look it up because I don't want to say something dumb. And I was looking at it and I was reading, like even from character creation, it really digs on this first edition vibes where it suggests that you make 3 characters because you're all going to start off as level 0 characters and your characters are probably going to die in the first dungeon. But from the rolling mechanic, you throw 3d6
and that's it.
You don't take anything down. There's no point buy, and you don't choose where to put it. The first thing you throw goes to strength. The second thing you throw goes to dex. The third, so on and so forth. I forget. There were 6 stats, including one that was luck, which is a whole different mechanic that they put in the game.
Yeah, it's Dungeon Crawl Classics.
Dungeon Crawl Classics. Thank you.
And they have this setting for the diner.
And this seems to be like philosophically the whole polar opposite of what's going on now. I don't know if I'm not the actual intended consumer of this new branding. And if we can get into kind of like drama and stuff, they're going down a path that you probably like more than I do.
Yes.
I know we always joke about I'm the barbarian on the right and he's the barbarian on the left.
But it's actually true.
Yeah, in part. I'm a bit more conservative. He's a bit more modern, progressive, whatever you want to call it.
Yes.
So I see like they're trying to force a lot of things. A species, what is that, man? Come on.
Oh, instead of race, species.
Come on, man.
Well, in a way,
the way that they're just ripping out all these things about what the character species brings to it, physical attributes. I mean, you can deny it all you want, but there is a biology linked to this. We're gonna get controversial. You guys want to criticize me? Go for it. I'm nobody. You can rip me down. But there is an attribute related to our, I don't know how you would call this, ethical origins or your biological origins. There are genetic traits that are transferred down from generation to generation. And we're just denying this and we're just throwing it aside for, which I guess this isn't supposed to be a scientific game and fantasy is fantasy.
But I get you because I mean, philosophically speaking, and as the system as a whole, I think it goes to the same philosophy that you said about being wishy-washy. It's not even the ideological vein. It's just, well, an elf is supposed to be this sort of creature. I mean, between the parameters of what an elf should be, you can do some really out there sort of things. But now in this new system, you can basically make your elf. It's not really a choice per se. It's just,
and there's like a whole mythos related to these races, species. Again, I'm probably going to keep calling them races.
Probably, yeah.
Because I see no reason to change it. Dungeons and Dragons, when we were growing up, I never once felt it to be this racist. And I'm kind of making this as a segue into the second part of what I want to get into with you. I never felt this was a racist game. Misogynistic in a sense, maybe, yeah, the way we played it as stupid teenagers.
In the 90s, yeah, that's...
I mean, we're all stupid teenagers at some point in time, I think.
Some of us even for longer time.
Yeah,
Yes.
I know a bunch of stupid 50-year-old dudes who are still thinking the same way they did when they were 16.
Yeah, actually, my students told me that, and I said, dude, I'm doing the paperwork I should have done on the first week of class at the last week of class. How responsible do you think I am?
No, but I mean, so I don't think the game... All right. I don't know if you are familiar with what has happened in the last couple of days. I think it's been maybe 3 or 4 days as the time we are recording this. Do you know a gentleman by the name of Robert Kuntz?
No.
He was, if I'm not mistaken, Gary Gygax's second in command when they were back in the days of yore and old and the old school Dungeons and Dragons and Arneson and Gygax and... Okay, so the deal is, apparently in the book, there was a 50th anniversary book that came out from D&D, a big red book that supposedly has all the manuscripts and paperworks and original printings and a bunch of stuff from the original D&D, the like white box, and I don't know if it goes... Does it go to the red box or does it stick... I mean, we have the red box here, and I'm sure we have the manuscript somewhere else. Here, you look over there, I'll look over here.
There we go. That's it.
Here, I think this is, if you'll allow me, I'm going to step away from the mic for a second. Have you guys seen these? I think these are kind of cool. See, this is merch I can actually get behind. Yeah, like we got all these little... I'm going to throw the dragon and the producer's going to kill me. Yeah, like we have these printings, which if I'm not mistaken are not dissimilar to the original printings. Well, I know these are replicas. We're not going to spend thousands of dollars to get this, but like here, like Blackmore, Arneson. So these, in the preface and the foreword of the book, in both of them, there are direct and indirect insinuations of how now this is considered like legacy content, and as legacy content, they put like a warning. Though these ideas they're backwards, they are racist, they're misogynistic. These were created literally, I think it textually says something like, this was created by white men in middle rural United States. But it's like this whole, dude, I'm going to use the word, like a whole satanization of these people and like, what the hell are they talking about?
I mean, you can be a little more gentle with it. You say, yeah, this was, I mean, I really love classic sci-fi, and I can really, really see that sort of stuff, that sort of racism and misogyny, but you can see the intention. I mean, it's not like you probably never heard of this book, but there's a book, an alternative science fiction book called The Domination of Draka. It's a whole universe where the Nazis, well, not the Nazis, but
a fascist group,
a fascist, racist, eugenicist society won.
Okay.
And actually, the author is not pro that. He just made that up. But there are people that say, oh, that would be a very cool reality to live in, which is very weird. But what I'm saying is, even if somebody took it as what's happening with The Boys, that some people say that Homelander is a cool guy, and he's obviously the bad guy. Well, not, but yeah, that doesn't make sense because it's modern. Let's go to something more classic. Yeah, like this sort of books.
How about we focus actually on D&D?
Yeah,
not on other stuff that's around it that's adjacent, but it's not the thing. when did we ever read a book and be like, oh yeah, this monster equates this ethnic or is this ethnic group or this minority?
Well, they were jokes of the sort, but yeah, I mean, it was not in the text.
I honestly, being completely sincere, I don't recall ever equating this with that.
Yeah. I mean, sorry. Yeah, if there were jokes made, it was not the actual text. It was something that we brought with our own culture. I remember we're in Mexico, so it's a very...
Well, it's curious you should say that. Have you seen the illustrations of the new orcs?
Yeah, we had the discussion that they looked...
I don't remember if we did.
You don't,
I mean, I know we spoke about it, but I don't know if we actually spoke about it here.
We didn't speak of it on camera, yeah.
I think I may have mentioned something.
Yeah, we spoke behind the scenes, but yeah...
So now you have this new inclusion, and it seems even more overtly racist than anything I had seen before. I mean, before, taking into consideration just the orcs. Orcs were an evil, malignant monster, and there was a whole mythos behind why they were evil, and their god was evil, and he was pissed off with the other gods, and that's why they did evil things. Evil is a tangible... I guess I won't going to say... I'm going to say things that are probably... I can already hear our friend EWN just going like, oh, this is so stupid. You have no idea what you're talking about, and just shutting me down. But in the game, evil is a real thing. Good is a real thing. Whether you like it, you don't like it, it's there.
It's tangible in a way. Yeah, it's not a gray world.
Alignment is there. There is the axis of law and chaos. There is the axis of good and evil. It's a mechanic in the game. It was. They've taken it away. It is overtly racist to depict orcs as Latins. As gauchos, as Mexicans, as I would find. I mean, y'all are lucky that I've been living in Mexico for over 20 some odd years. I am a nationalized Mexican U.S. citizen. I think I have both cards. I can talk from both sides to an extent.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, and plus your ancestry is actually Latin as well.
Yeah, I come from Cubans, which many would say don't count, but whatever. I'm not clapping. I'm killing mosquitoes. What the hell? I mean, they're lucky that Mexicans are cool about it. And people hear, oh, shit, Speedy Gonzalez, dude, that's hilarious. They'll just laugh it off. Nobody really cares here. But I'd be like, my white side is like, yo, what the heck?
Yeah, it's pretty weird.
That's pretty weird, man. And not only that, then we go into the other side. There are a couple of channels. This is Clownfish has been going off. They've been going off on this whole 2024 revision. There was another channel actually where I wrote down the name because I didn't want to forget about it. Tankar's Tavern, which actually they were the first ones to report on this writing on Rob, where Rob basically just calls everybody out. And they're like, how can you have a book about our history, about the development of the game, and not interview like the few people that are still alive?
Yeah, I mean, sadly, Gary Gygax already passed, but
Arneson passed, but a lot of people that work with them, that play with them, are still there, and he's one, which I think is cool. That he is I think he's producing like their own documentary. I think it's called Dragonland, and there's also one called The Secrets of Blackmore, which apparently it's on Prime in the States. I can't find it on Prime here in Mexico. I'm gonna have to
see what we can do.
Find it on other means. Sorry, I can't pay for it. I can't help you. No, I can't pay for it because it's not here available. And I don't have a VPN, which I don't think is legal or not. I don't know. VPN is everywhere. Sponsor us, some kind of VPN. What was I getting at? Right. So he writes this letter, and he riles up all like the old timey and the people who are into the OSR, and it's I think it's interesting what's coming. I think this forced inclusion is going to cause a bigger division, and it's going to be a lot more drama.
Yeah, I think it's...
You want to tattoo my beard on your arm, and I'll tattoo your beard on my arm? Did you see that? The dwarves?
No.
There's an image that's
yeah. So
it's the dwarven bakers, and I worry more about why is there a cat in a dwarven cave, but whatever. And they have each other's... I mean, that's great. That's fine. But I'm torn. I think the game is a game and real life is real life. And when you start putting them together, it's awkward, maybe.
Depends on the way you put it together. I mean, it's also the problem of Now we're gonna be the lefty thing going on, but
Go for it. Throw it out.
yeah, but it's a problem of late capitalism and rainbow capitalism especially because it doesn't feel sincere as well. That's mainly the issue. I mean, a lot of this forced inclusion, a lot of people on my side are also really annoyed, and it's like, yeah, because it's kind of cheap. I mean, it's not like it doesn't really have to be like so front and center. It can also be normalized, like, oh, it's normal. Oh yeah, randomly one of the couples are clearly a gay couple.
Yeah, sure.
Especially in a world with magic, I mean, you can actually you could actually make a case for biological kids via magic.
I was watching, curiously enough, a couple of days ago, they released one of the first comedy specials from, was it Ron Swanson? I think that's the character's name. I forget the actual comedian's name.
Yeah. That's the name of the character. I don't know his name.
Forgive me. The guy who plays Ron Swanson, who did an excellent job in The Last of Us. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, that episode's really good.
That was a freaking amazing performance. He's talking about how, like Tolkien, like mentioning stuff about Tolkien and like who would you rather have leading your community? Who would do it better than a sexually ambiguous or like a bisexual elf community leader, referring to Elrond? I mean, he's the perfect guy to run this. I mean, who would you want to decorate your party? Him or this filthy dwarf in the cave or something? And just like, I don't know, just like talking shit in his special. And I thought it was hilarious because that was back in 2012. Nowadays, I think if you mention Tolkien, they're going to think you're also a racist because even Tolkien is racist now. And
I mean, he's a product of his times.
Exactly, but
I mean, if you want to go like really racist, even for his times, and he actually repented. Lovecraft was the one that's...
Lovecraft, that kitty was...
yeah, the name of his cat is hilarious.
We're not going to mention that.
We cannot mention it. Yeah, the producers like going, no.
Yeah, that
but
kitty was
yeah, the thing is
peculiar.
that's also the other thing. It kind of feels fake, so to speak. I mean, in my way, because at the end of the day, I mean, we've done a ton of jokes outside of the cameras about how why cannot we imagine even in fantasy a non-capitalist system, particularly if we have wizards that can conjure everything. Imagine that. You have a wizard that can conjure infinite energy. You can have like the socialist utopia just powered by one single wizard. I mean, obviously, I jest, but not so much. And yeah, it feels annoying because of that. Is that rainbow capitalism? Because a lot of the times what people are annoyed is not just the inclusion. It doesn't really feel like sincere. Like, I don't know if you remember the first gay case on Star Wars that happened in the 9th movie.
Which was the 9th movie?
Doesn't matter. One of the bad ones. They had a gay kiss, like, but it was
No,
in the
but seriously, which was the 9th one?
It's
The last one that came out?
The last one that came out, the Skywalker thing, something Skywalker.
Was it the clone or was it the?
There was a couple of pilots in the background with the rebels. There was a lesbian couple.
Oh, but they were saying that the clone,
the clone and the pilot were like,
and the other Latin pilot.
they were built to make a relationship out of that. I mean, that wasn't that was a romantic relationship coming up, but they chickened out because that's what happens when it's not actually sincere. It's just,
I don't know. I mean, I saw the images for the Return to Crystal Cave. That'll probably come out in another video when we review those modules. And the new artwork is like apparently either two female elves or an
non-binary,
androgynous.
and it's cool.
Yeah, that's the phrase for it now, which is fine. That's fine. But it's just, it makes everything, when everything has to be that way, it's just, what's the point?
Well, it's not that it doesn't matter if it's new, if it changes. It's just, yeah, the warning was really insensitive. I'm reminded of something that happened in a long time I had in a discussion that I had in a forum a long time ago, which I think it's a really good lesson. I've heard that there's a lot, I mean, it's very tangential, but I hope the metaphor works. There's also always been a long discussion about if it's appropriate to open the door for a woman.
Open the door for anybody that's behind you.
Exactly. That's what we do in Mexico. And sometimes a lot of people fight for it because, no, it's like...
there is a power dynamic in opening the door and letting somebody go in. if you go in, then you are in a certain way, kind of like giving the person that opened the door a bit more power and
and so forth and so forth. But you can be nice to everybody and not just scold somebody like, "Oh, you're mean because you open doors for people." I mean, what I'm gonna do is slam the door in your face.
Now, I've been on the opposite side where I try to hold the door open for somebody,
And they've scolded you.
and they're like, "I can hold my own door," and they'll be all offended, and it's like, oh, come on, man, whatever. Or I'll be behind somebody who doesn't even open the door, and the door practically slams back in my face, and it's like, dude.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, especially if I'm carrying something, that's like the nice thing to do. And most of the time, people around here actually, be it female or male, they open the doors for everybody. That would be the nice way to do it. Because the thing is, the way they're doing this sort of canceling and so forth.
That means hurry up.
Oh yeah, we've took a ton of time.
That's all right.
No, but the thing, these sort of things,
up.
the problem with it is it doesn't feel really sincere, and it's like you said, the power dynamic. It actually replaces like this bad structures with another bad structure, and that doesn't feel good.
I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful to see how the classes work out. I don't know if I'm gonna enjoy it. I'm not going to bitch about it because I can just keep playing 5th before. I can go back and play 4th or 3rd, or I can find another system. I don't see the point also of the constant bitching and moaning and nagging about it. You don't like it, just don't play it. Ignore it. You don't have to do it just because it's the new one. There's a lot of people who are still playing 1st edition and have probably never even bothered to get these books. It's not necessary. Quit bitching. But if you're going to play it... I know I'm sounding contradictory because I've been bitching about it, but it's just the whole way that they're forcing this out. So I'm very curious to see what actually happens with this battle between Kuntz and Hasbro, and Wizards of the Coast, because he wrote back. And I mean, you can go and check these other videos out. They have the actual letters behind them and they're reading them. I don't see the point of repeating that. It's already out there, but it's going to be a juicy fight.
Yeah, but again, these fights are also an opportunity. Perhaps somebody can actually do a real heritage to that.
It's time to keep supporting third-party producers, man. And that's what was so scary about the OGL BS and all this crap a year ago. So I don't know. We'll see.
A little bit of a rant to palate cleanse between.
Spit it out. And I mean, I'm still looking forward to seeing what they do with the cleric, and I don't know, maybe they change something in the combat system, which I doubt.
No, the spellcasting system should be interesting what they do with it.
I guess. But anyway,
all right, that's been us.
If you stuck around and listened to us bitch and moan about not bitching and moaning for 20 some odd minutes, greatly appreciate it.
As always, subscribe,
follow us on anything that's down in the description below,
and please put comments. We really like reading them, and the feedback helps us a lot.
Yeah, especially with the new things we've been working out here. We've been trying to try different camera positions, adding a third camera that we probably don't even look at all, but just to try and mix it up a bit.
Yes.
So we really appreciate you having here. We've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it as well. And as always, remember to
rage responsibly.
Yes. Goodbye. Take care, friends.
See you next time.